The incidences of post-election violence in Abdokola, Gasol, Sabdona, Donga and parts of Jalingo local government areas, describing it as regrettable. The police public relations officer, ASP Joseph Kwaji, however, said normalcy has returned in these places following the joint efforts of security operatives.
That is caught with any electoral offense, that person will be arrested and will be charged to court immediately.
A drive round Jalingo, the state capital, indicates that normalcy has returned as the deserted streets resumed with the usual human and vehicular movement. However, the 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. curfew imposed in the state is still in force. The rescheduled governorship election in selected wards and units is slated for the 25th April 2015. Elizabeth Usan-Smith, NTA News.
And Niger Delta youth, under the umbrella of the Bridge Builders of Niger Delta, have reiterated their support and commitment to work with the incoming administration of General Muhammadu Buhari to end the challenges in the region. Grand patron of the organization, DB Yankore, stated this at a press briefing in Abuja. Aliu Tukur completes the report.
The organization, which is a combination of ex-militants, professionals and various youth organizations from the Niger Delta, aims at realizing the socio-political and economic development of the region. To achieve this, the group noted that there is need to support the incoming administration to address issues as militancy, pipeline vandalism, kidnapping and oil theft.
The president-elect is a nation builder. And we as fellow nation builders, we also know that the dynamics of nation building is not a one-man issue, it's a collective responsibility.
Our most sincere prayer is that the Almighty God will give him, President-elect General Muhammadu Buhari, the wisdom to lead this country to the promised land.
The organization expressed hope in the ability of President-elect Buhari to provide lasting solutions to the challenges of not only the Niger Delta, but the country at large. The group also commended President Jonathan and Nigerians for conducting a peaceful and credible elections, which will assist the Buhari administration to stabilize, get focused, and indeed achieve. In Abuja, Aliu Tukur, NTA News.
Still talking politics. Following the victory, Chief Nyesom Wike of the People's Democratic Party in the April 11th governorship election, PDP stalwarts and chieftains have continued to celebrate across the local governments. In Ogu, Bolo and Okrika local government areas, major activities including markets were paralyzed as the people trooped out to celebrate. Mr. Evans BP, who was re-elected, speaks on the victory. Lagos Network Center is our first stop on Nationwide this Friday, and Abdullahi is standing by with details of World Consumer Rights Day as celebrated in Lagos. Well, I understand Lagos is still getting ready for us. Moving on to other stories now. Education, health, and economic empowerment have been described as the panacea that will unleash women globally. The African Executive Director of ONE emphasized this at a workshop on gender equality and capacity building in Abuja. Correspondent Ifeanyi Ezumba reports.
ONE is an international campaign organizing an advocacy organization of more than 6 million people taking action to end poverty. The aim of the workshop, which is to put girls and women at the heart of development, had participants from various establishments discussing how they can take control of their lives.
This whole campaign and what we're doing here today with the journalists is making sure that issues are clear so that you guys begin to follow these issues, champion the campaign, reach the grassroots and make sure that they too are part of this push to our leaders for a better world.
It is now time to keep them at the center of every poverty eradication program.
We expect that this would become an agenda setting for Nigeria.
A veteran broadcaster, Mojima Konjola, drilled the panelists on issues that will affect women positively.
We have to keep pushing until that the full change that we have envisaged will come to pass.
The One Power Forum is agitating that women be given the power and tools they require to become drivers of poverty reduction. In Abuja, Ifani Ezumba, NT News.
Moving to agriculture, Israel is regarded as a holy land, largely depending on gold for its survival. Despite this, the people are noted for innovation, creativity, and effective management of available resources, as in the case of the agricultural development, which makes the state a non-importer of food. Correspondent Joseph Orok tells us how Israel's farming techniques can be imbibed by Nigeria for food sufficiency.
The state of Israel is mostly surrounded by marshy and rocky soil, which ordinarily makes cultivation of crops difficult. To overcome the infertility of the land and ensure food sufficiency in the country, the Israeli Authority undertook an intense study of how to maximize the naturally bad soil. The study exposes the inadequacy of the soil and what's to be done to make sense. After 4 years of cultivating strawberries in this soil, using the farming techniques recommended after the studies, it was discovered that covering the area of cultivation with transparent cellophane will help to control the ray of sunlight on the plants and retain water on the marshy soil, which relevant insects, and in this case, bee, enhances needed pollination. Attracted to these farming techniques, Nigerian Easter pilgrims were conducted around these bio-bee technology and healthy agricultural practice, devoid of any usage of chemical application for the transfer of knowledge.
So if we continue with this kind of study, I know agriculture will bring back the glory of Nigeria in no distant time.
We should go back to agric. We can also do the same as the Israelites are doing.
Technology can be transferred to grow pepper, tomatoes, and different kinds of vegetables in Nigeria. And that's why we have come to learn and take it back to Nigeria, in addition to having taught the holy sites.
It is therefore expected that beneficiaries of this study will develop a 20 to 30 years strategic personal development plans towards the accomplishments of the techniques, as well as train other Nigerians.
The key message here is that farmers must be able to know their soil, understand the quantity of nutrients that is lacking, and what to add on to is to make it up, and of course to know the quality and quantity of water to be applied to the farm, so that the farm will yield the desired productivity. From Gasville in Israel, Joseph Orok, NTA News.
Many thanks, Joseph. And still talking on more lessons to be learned, 44 days to the swearing in of the incoming administration, political pundits have continued to analyze the 2015 electoral process. Ignatius Nkwo in this package outlines some outstanding lessons experts say should be learned from the recently conducted elections.
Was the political procession that gave birth to the emergence of a new political era in Africa's most populous nation, Nigeria. It was an emphatic statement in the ballot box, described by some foreign election observers as Nigeria's most competitive election in history. The election of 28 March 2015 saw the defeat of an incumbent president for the first time in Nigeria's history. But more historic is the fact that the sitting president congratulated the president-elect before the final collation of results, a gesture that has opened a new learning chapter in Nigeria's electoral process.
We have been commended the head of state for his showing the art of the qualities of a statesman.
Most Nigerians are of the view that Nigerians should learn to accept technological innovations in the electoral process.
The previous election was not as free and fair as this because of the card reader.
That technology minimizes the avenues for rigging.
First, party supremacy. Discipline.
When election is free, fair, credible and peaceful, it means that there will be less rancor, less acrimony.
An incumbent president being defeated in West Africa is not out of place, but it is certainly rare. And with pockets of upcoming elections in West Africa, political leaders will be expected to learn lessons from the region's political powerhouse. In Abuja, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And back to agriculture news, the federal government says the recent relocation of Department of Cooperatives from the Ministry of Agriculture to that of Labor will not in any way affect the growth of agribusiness and cooperatives in the country. Musa Baba Aliu takes it from here.
The federal government has recently moved the Department of Cooperatives out of the Ministry of Agriculture to that of Labor and Productivity to ensure effective management and accountability. This development, however, become a source of concern to members of the cooperatives organization. It is in view of this that the representatives of cooperatives met with officials of the Ministry of Agriculture on the way forward.
The desired change by the cooperative movement in Nigeria is the upgrading of the Federal Department of Cooperatives, either a full-fledged ministry, as it is in Kenya, or a commission like the Corporate Affairs Commission, with good budgetary allocation to enable her to deliver on her mandate.
Permanent Secretary, Minister of Agriculture, Aledi Afia, stating that the action taken is in the best interest of the nation.
The model we are going, these are one of the suggestions that we will be putting forward to the new administration. To find ways of deepening and promoting rural development, and also trying to stem the tide of everybody wanting to come to the city to look for white-collar jobs. That is why we've always said that agriculture offers the best opportunity to create jobs, to grow this economy, and to promote what we call inclusion in growth.
In Abuja, Musa Baba Ali, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on the network service of the Nigerian Television Authority. We take some messages now, more reports when we return.
Honor goes to whom it is due. Malam Nasiru El-Rufai, former Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and Governor-elect Kaduna State. We salute you and your commitment to entrenching democratic ideals. Your visionary leadership qualities has brought you thus far. Congratulations on your election as the Governor of Kaduna State. May Almighty Allah guard, guide, and endow you with abundant wisdom to govern Kaduna State. This message is courtesy of Honorable Osman Shehu Garba, Shehu ABG.
You are watching NTA, Nigerian Television Authority. For more information and news updates, visit our website at www.nta.ng, or you can follow us on Twitter at NTA News Now, or you can like us on Facebook at NTA Network News. Stay connected on our YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/NTA News Online. Watch our live stream at www.nta.ng/live. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Nation building is a task of extreme importance.
Poor diets contribute to more than 11 million deaths annually. This trend, according to speakers at this forum, has persisted because a percentage of consumers do not know their rights and so do not seek redress when needed. They also focus more on the adverts than the contents of foods bought.
The people who are most vulnerable are the kids when they hear this, because they are not in a position to know the nutritional contents of such food. So what we are saying that adverts that are targeted, particularly at the kids, should be something that should be, one, well informed, so that you don't mislead the public.
The platform organizers say is to call on all regulatory agencies in Nigeria to live up to their billing by creating the much needed awareness, as well as provide good food and beverage advertising, promotion and sponsorship.
Non-state actors with commercial interests like multinational companies should be guided and be looked at the way they go about, so that they don't constitute greater distance to greater population of the people. That is just what we are, which are consumers.
The take-home message is that consumers not only have a right to food, but also the right to healthy food. The event had various service providers and regulatory bodies in attendance. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Lagos State Governor Babatunde Fashola has restated the commitment of the state government to the development of tourism and tourist destinations across the state. The governor stated this after an inspection of work at the Papa Amusement Park. Justin Moses reports that the governor also commissioned a rehabilitated road in Ogba.
Now, back to the fashion after the inspection of projects at the amusement park stressed that we could achieve whatever are our desires in the country. He noted that several tourist points are also receiving attention across the state. According to him, the Lagos-Badagry Expressway was conceived as part of efforts to make easy access for tourists to reach their destinations.
We said consistently, anybody that attacks this road really attacks your prosperity, and you must rise to protect and to defend it. The contractors have told us that with regular maintenance, this road should serve you for the next 25 years at the minimum.
The governor also inspected various ongoing housing projects at Ijora Badia, Ilobirin, and Alausa in Lagos. Jesuto Moses, NTA News.
Occupants of the offices are
part of the edifice. The need to adequately equip the federal and state fire services to respond to distress calls has remained a topical issue discussed by Lagos residents.
The federal government and the state government should try as much as they can, release money, equip them, and do everything they can do to ensure that things work out well.
And anytime they call them, they should be prompt. There should be immediate response in order to control the fire at the early stage.
Safety tips and education, as well as provision of firefighting equipment in public and private organizations, was also raised by respondents.
The organization should ensure that they train their staff on safety aspects.
Most organizations are supposed to have this fire extinguisher around available. Normally, before leaving the office, every appliance needs to be switched off.
The fire incident at the Mama Kontagora house is one out of more than 100 fire incidents across the metropolis. In Lagos, Musa Tolian, NTA News.
Well, Hawa, I hope you're ready to take over for now, because that ends nationwide from Lagos. Hawa?
Many thanks, Abdullah. Moving to other matters now, members of the Federation of Muslim Women Association of Nigeria, Form 1 FCT chapter, have contributed to the social well-being of the internally displaced persons currently living in Abuja by donating food and other items to them. Correspondent Hawa Gimba has the details.
FCT Form 1 Hajar Raliat Akimbobola speaking to the children who were receiving educational lessons as at the time of their visit, calling on the children to concentrate on their studies irrespective of the situation they found themselves. She said the donation are to better their livelihood pending when they will return to their various homes.
We have been coming to see them, but we feel once in a while like this, we should come. We know what we are bringing cannot solve their problem. At least it will elevate, and they will know that we are actually outside, feeling the pains they too they are going through. And we feel by giving them these small things we brought, it will go a long way to assist them, and it will give them the confidence that people outside too, they care for them a lot. They are Nigerian like us, and they are homeless. So we come here to help them, to give them the token that we have, to make their life a little bit comfortable.
Some of the internally displaced persons spoke on the donation, expressing their appreciation. The Federation of Muslim Women of Nigeria FCT branch is calling on other stakeholders to contribute to the well-being of the internally displaced persons in Abuja. Hawa Gimba, NTA News.
Any elderly Muslim from the Federal Capital Territory who intends to perform Hajj henceforth must be accompanied by an abled person in addition to being certified fit for the religious obligation. This is one of the recommendations contained in the 2014 FCT Hajj report presented to the FCT Minister of State Olajumoke Akinjide by the FCT Amirul Hajj team. Correspondent Mitairi Ikben reports.
Amirul Hajj for last year's pilgrimage and Serkin Jiwa Al-Haji Idris Musa, as well as the director FCT Muslim Pilgrims Welfare Board Muhammad Bashiru, described the 2014 Hajj exercise as the most successful so far, with no case of death recorded among 2,497 pilgrims from FCT who performed the Hajj in Saudi Arabia. The exercise also had its fair share of challenges.
Some of the challenges faced during the 2014 operation centers on feeding, to be specific on the pilgrim. unruly behavior of few pilgrims, shortage of Hajj seats allocation.
These challenges have been well articulated in the report, and far-reaching recommendations aimed at improvement in the future exercise are also noted therein.
FCT Minister of State Oloye Olajumoke Akinjide said the FCT administration will address the challenges
to make sure that the Federal Capital Territory continues to improve and to excel in the care and in the processes leading to the Hajj and during the Hajj and after the Hajj. If they will agree to serve, I want to announce that I would like to retain the FCT Amiru Hajj team 2015 and the Ministerial Committee for 2015. Same team.
in Abuja. Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Ministries, departments and agencies involved in the first phase of the National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan are fine-tuning priority projects to meet the infrastructure needs of the nation. At a workshop for stakeholders, the National Planning Commission said the process was necessary due to the stark reality of dwindling revenues and the need to create an enabling environment for successful and sustainable investment. Details with Leah Katun Babatunde.
Ranked Nigeria 115 out of 130 countries in infrastructure stock, meaning infrastructure in the country currently stands between 20 to 25% of the nation's GDP, posing as a stumbling block to growth and development. The National Integrated Infrastructure Master Plan (NIIMP) therefore seeks to bridge the huge deficit within 30 years beginning from September 2014. This workshop brought together key ministries, departments and agencies in the process to identify priority projects that can be packaged and marketed to the private sector for investment.
This can only be done if we know more about these projects, and that is the essence of why we are here today.
The investment outlay for the first 5 years is slightly above $86 billion. The federal and state governments are expected to provide $86 billion, while the private sector is to invest $80 billion.
Identify the project, what will it cost to prepare the project, including pre-feasibility studies, feasibility studies, before finally you sell the project to the prospective investors.
Looking at by now they must have buried their heads somewhere because they will have been disappointed.
You saw in this election is a combination of an INEC which had achieved a tremendous improvement in the manner in which the electoral process was planned. You had millions and millions of Nigerians who still had faith that the democratic process can actually affect the manner in which leaders emerge. They never gave up. They came out in their millions.
The program comes up tonight at 11 o'clock on the network service of the NTA. Sports now. Golfers set to compete for the 2015 Captain's Cup at the IBB International Golf and Country Club, Abuja, Saturday, as Napoli and Sevilla shine in first leg quarterfinals of the Europa League. Details with Kene Emagodike on Sports Update.
This year's Captain Golf Cup is up for grabs with over 250 amateur golfers from across the federation set to jostle for the IBB International Golf and Country Club Abuja Trophy, which tee off on Saturday. Organizers say the 18-hole competition will be in 3 categories.
For men, we have categories 1, 2, and 3. For women, we have categories 1 and 2. We have the veterans, and then we have the guests.
The Nigerian Cricket Federation and 8 stakeholders made history Friday at the Package B of the Abuja National Stadium with the groundbreaking ceremony of the Standard Cricket Oval. The first turf to be constructed on the 23 hectares land will be ready for use in the next 3 months.
It's going to act as a catalyst for other sports in Nigeria to emulate what we have done in Cricket Federation in trying to promote sports in Nigeria. by creating a wonderful infrastructure for ourselves that will create, in turn, create what they call sports tourism, and also give us enablement to host international events.
I think in the next 5-10 years, cricket should actually be competing with basketball and football in Nigeria.
Napoli claimed a vital away 4-1 victory over Wolfsburg in the Europa League first leg quarterfinals Thursday, with Marek Hamsik scoring a brace. Defending champion Sevilla came from behind to beat Zenit St. Petersburg 2-1 to keep hope alive. Dynamo Kiev and Fiorentina 3-1-1, just as Club Brugge and Dnipro played a goalless draw. With Sports Update, Kenei Mabodike, NTA News.
And next is a reminder to be safety conscious and dial these emergency numbers in case of security breach. Katsi, National Security Advisor.
Advisor says for all cases of suspected insecurity, please call or SMS the following numbers: 070-5727-4630, 070-5727-4632, 070-5727-4633, 070-5727-4634, 090-9622-3788.
And that wraps up our contribution on Nationwide this Friday. Thanks for being part of it. We have more reports for you in our subsequent bulletins on the network. Good evening.
We are Nigerians.
though of many tribes, and each with a different tongue. We stand united in our resolve to build, to defend, and to honor our great nation. We are a great